Testing, 1, 2, testing. I need to figure out a way to do TTS in my ears. Welcome to another morning stream. I'm just going to talk at the beginning, even before people get in here. While I warm up. Since the VODs are going to be on YouTube, I was on Facebook and on Twitch. So I put a link at the top of the screen. Hopefully that's shown up. So if you want to listen to the music I'm listening to, you can go there and check it out. No desire to keep up with any of these people right now. I'm listening to the Bohemian Like You playlist, which I really love. Wait, is it almost 6 o'clock already? I'm late. I'm trying to get on the bike at 5:30 my time. So I can get my ride in, get out, have some fun, do a little cleaning. And then go to work. Didn't make it to yoga last night. Yeah, I was a little late. I was gonna go to yoga. Shanty Yoga Roots. Madeline's class was last night. But didn't make it. Tough day yesterday, work stuff. I'm just warming up here. So since this is the first video that, this is the first Zwift video that's getting published to YouTube. So I'm gonna talk about what this is for those of people that don't know. So Zwift is obviously just like an indoor cycling app. And I got so into it like 4 years ago, I went ahead and dropped like 4 grand on 3 grand on this indoor bike. This is a Wahoo Kicker 2. I put some bars on it just because it's easier. A lot of times my arms will be burned out from other stuff, and I really just want the cardio. So I have all the kit and everything to be a Lycra superhero, but I'm not a fan. If I had it to do over again, I would have saved all that money and just, wore like what I'm wearing right now, which is just, Hanes t-shirt, Hanes shorts. My cycling outfit costs like, if you don't count my shoes, it costs like, I don't know, maybe 50 bucks. I have $250 shoes, but I have the Specialized Torch. These are fantastic shoes for like road riding and stuff. For those of you who don't know, I did a lot of road riding back in the day. Used to race criteriums as a kid. And got out of it because there was just so much pain and suffering. All right, I think I can take it up a notch. I'm a little bit too chatty. I'm riding without a helmet. I need to get a keyboard close to me so I can change the view and stuff. Eventually, I'll do that. But yeah, then I got out of cycling for years, and I got really overweight. I got up to 94 kilos, and I weigh 83 now, but it's a little more muscle than I had before. Anyway, you don't care about that. I'm here to answer your questions, and if it can be about anything. Let's draft off this person for a second. Get the heart rate back up. Oh, I'm a little bit too fast there. Oh, that's like a brand new rider. Hopefully you'll bring your own music to the party. I'm going to do this pretty regularly. I think I'm going to actually put a lockdown schedule so people want to ride with me in the morning. You can get on your own bike, whether it's the gym or whatever. And we can talk. It gives me something to do at 5 a.m. Got to put in the work, right? Sometimes I wonder if it's even streaming at all. It's hard when I stream this early because my regulars are not up. They're all asleep. I'll go validate it. It's on. Hey, Jalopy. And now my neighbors are waking me up. Yeah, they have kids and everything. I'm just talking. If I piss them off, it's at night. Because at night, I guess we watched Andor last night at 11 o'clock. It gets pretty loud. Mm. Trying really hard not to look at local news or the news out there. It's insane. This is one way to deal with it. I don't want to ignore what's happening, but I also don't want to be like, to have the surround hooked up. I bought a busking PA. It's really cool. I'd love to show it to you. It's got a central mixer, and then on the one side, you attach a speaker. It goes on the other side, so it becomes this like shell you can carry. So you can go on the corner. I'm actually working on my set list again. A bunch of like silly, guitar guy covers. And I mean, that's why I got it. I also got it because I wanted to DJ for ecstatic dance, which is just kind of like, you know, like hippie dance club stuff where you can't drink or anything. They have a big one. They have a big ecstatic dance down in Salt Lake on Sundays and Wednesdays. When I saw it, I thought about moving to Salt Lake. Castle Law. Oh, you have surrounding. What's Castle Law? I'll have to look that up. Does that protect your ability to make a lot of noise? If I get behind this guy, I can get some free speed. This is a pretty easy route. It's a 50-minute estimate. Oh, that's that newbie again. I mean, they are brand new. They're on a classic. Oh, they're level 15 because they're wearing it on their shirt. I'm 49. Hey, we might get level 50 today. Should we just keep riding until I hit level 50? I have so many drops. There's like nothing I need to buy though. I have like the best bike in the game. I'll just ride with this guy. It's kind of fun to ride with other people. I need my keyboard so I can change like camera angles. I'll probably put it on my left right here. I can just change the angle. I wish you would make it so you could operate the camera angles from your like, oh, there goes the pack. We'll ride with the pack later. So since this is the first Zwift, I'm going to talk about it. Some of you guys know this, but right now I'm pushing the thumb buttons to turn left and right. So you can get, tricky with that. You want to be able to stop people from like following you or whatever. Oh, I need the fan on. Uh, I love that this I I love that this room has a fan, has a ceiling fan. I have to set up all the other fan systems, just a little bit of airflow. I'm not pushing hard enough. I need to do at least like 114 BPM average. Anyway, so what are all these numbers? I'm just talking about random things. So the numbers at the top right, left, you can actually set them up. These are, you have watts. So if you're new to cycling, you don't know what watts are about. Watts is the amount of power you're putting out. And cycling pretty much popularized power as a measure of like workout because it combines your strength and your cardio, sort of. That's supposed to anyway. Whereas BPM, which is in the kind of the bottom corner there, that's your heart rate. My max heart rate, I just reset it to 176. It was 179 before. I've hit 176 before, but Miss Misha, how you doing? The numbers? Yeah. Since we decided to not do what I want to say, we decided to not do music. The video would be really boring unless I talked about something. So since all of my videos are going to be zone 2 workouts, the measure of zone 2 is can you talk? So I'm going to be talking about a lot of random things for an hour every morning. Um, I know we've talked about charging batteries for the phone, or there's a really great video of a guy with massive legs. He's a sprinter. How much power you have to put out just to toast one piece of bread. It's insane. Put everybody on their little bikes and power the data centers out there. I was reading a thing about that. They brought a data center online that uses as much power as the entire city of Atlanta. It's going to be an interesting time. So let's talk about Zwift basics a little bit. So right now, the power meter on the left, you see how it's in the white bar? Well, let me push it up. That's your percentage. Now I'm in blue. Now I'm in blue zone, right? So that's your total percentage. That's your average. The bar underneath the lightning bolt is a breakdown of your percentage in your power zone based on your power. I think solar, yeah. I think it's and underground nuclear too. So, what was I gonna say? This is perfect. Like if you can't can keep a thought in your head and you're kind of out of breath when you're talking, that is the perfect intensity. It's zone two, high end of zone two. Zone two is like 75% of your max, I think, 70%. There's a bunch of, I just read an article saying that the pros are mixing intervals in the winter now. They didn't used to do that. They would just do base training. They would come to a training camp like in Phoenix or something, and they'd be like 5 kilograms heavy after the holidays, and then they like work it up by May or April, and then they'd be competitive. But now they're like, it's too intense. The competition's too intense, so they're actually adding intervals to their winter training to maintain their power numbers. Randomly walking around while streaming is also zone two. Yep, it is. If I walk briskly, but it's pitch black right now. So 135 to 145. Yeah. 131. Yeah. 115. I was still sweating. Yeah. I don't. I told you this the other day, but I only look at my heart rate right now. Same with Tadej Pogacar, #1 cyclist in the world. He's primarily a zone two heart rate trainer. He believes more than that than power. Still, the reason mere mortals like us need to pay attention to your power output is because, particularly your heart rate and power, because if you blow recovery, you're dead because it stops you from doing anything else. So, like today, for example, I'm going to go climb for an hour and I'm also going to do an hour of hot yoga with Shayla or Skylar, who is tough. she she's really tough. So that doesn't come till like 5, 6 o'clock. But if I were to do like an interval workout, there's no way I could keep doing it every day. It would drive me. It would kill me. I talked about this before, but the main reason I started doing morning exercise is I did a little bit of research and confirmed a suspicion I had. I've had a suspicion for a long time that workout that at least minimal workout from 30 to 40 minutes per morning in the zone 2 range, that means make you sweat, will just you'll just have a better day all around. There's a study very recently that says that moderate exercise is more effective than most medicines for depression and countering Alzheimer's and all kinds of things. So if you just get in the habit of doing it every morning, and for most people, they don't have the time to go outside. And the most fit, balanced athletes I've ever met have either an indoor bike or an indoor treadmill, both of which you can get for around the price of an entry level bike. There was one mom that I knew through church. I'm not in that church anymore, but she was in her 30s and she had young kids, and she who's Huberman? I don't know who that is. Every morning exercises at 9 a.m. Yeah. So, but this mom with young toddlers at home, young toddlers. I mean, she was. I've seen it. I mean, I raised kids. I remember my wife, and she was bound to that house. She could not leave. And some people, I've heard of women like nearly going crazy because they forget how to speak English with adults and stuff like that because they're so locked down to raising kids. If they're, old school, raise the kids at home kind of, moms. And so she'd been a runner before. So in order to survive the hassle of having a toddler at home and all the stress that comes from that, she would run. She had an indoor she had an indoor treadmill, and she was telling me, she's like, "Oh my God, it's so good for my sanity." It's like I still feel like I'm not losing myself. Because raising kids, everybody knows, it's like, you know, you feel like your whole existence is being defined by how to raise those kids. Science podcaster, I haven't met Huberman yet. No, I don't. I'm not on the internet much other than to watch movies. So, but yeah, oh, is that the guy that wears the tie? Is that the guy who wears the black tie? I think I saw him once. I've never seen his podcast or anything. I think I saw him on Joe Rogan or something. Anyway, so this mom is completely happy, and she was just so fit. She was hot. I mean, and she was happy. The black tie and shirt. Yeah, I know that guy. And I no, I'm thinking of Friedman. I'm thinking of Alex Friedman. Yeah, anyway. And she was had more, and she was there to be able to be for her kids, for her toddlers and everything. And I said, "Well, how do you?" She goes, "I just put kind of a gate around my running thing so they and give them something to do in the same room. So they're playing with their toys and I'm playing with my toy." And then she ended up, doing a marathon, like under sub 3 hours. And she had like maybe like 8% body fat. She was hot. And people and she would come to I just remember because at the time I was into triathlon. I was like, how do you manage all that? Because I had to break away from work and stuff, right? Back in the day, I would either ride my bike to work. I did a lot of that. At that time, I can't remember. I can't remember if that was when we were what apartment we were in, but anyway, or if it was when we had a house. But back when I had young kids, I learned that you could not get anything in for self improvement unless you did it before everybody woke up. That was the only time. And actually, since I've been waking up at 5 or so, I've been getting a lot of other stuff done in the morning. Like I'll get online and I'll code sometimes. Sometimes I'll write. I always write in my journal. But I would like wake up and I would have all of this extra energy and stuff. So I wake up, I have some cocoa. I don't do coffee anymore, really. Sometimes a special occasion or something. Yeah, write my journal, have a Rice Krispie treat or something to kind of give me some blood sugar to get going. And I'll hop on the bike. And before I used to do yoga instead, I would wake up and I would do Ashtanga yoga. I'd turn the heater on and I still might do that, but now that I do yoga at night, every night, I don't. I save the yoga for nighttime. And before any of you come at me, love you. I wonder if it's gonna do it. Maybe. And say, how do you have time for all this? I always get this, right? People will be like, how do you have all that? I have no time to stay healthy. I'm like, how do you not have time? You got to make it a priority. You have to make it a priority, or you either spend the time now staying healthy, or you pay for it in years of life and misery at the end of your life. So you can pay now or you can pay later. Bottom line, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but that is the reality. You put the time in now or you lose the time later. Either way, you're going to pay for it in time and health and happiness. So why not be happy and healthy now? And you know, even if you just do a little bit, like one of the great things about doing it indoors is that I when I first started, I was honestly, I hate to say it, but I was really disgusted with myself because I let myself go so far. I really was, and I was no way I would have streamed because of shame, which honestly I shouldn't be that ashamed. I should be able to just own my own body no matter what, but I couldn't do it. I was way, way, way too out of shape, and so I just didn't stream it, and I would put a movie on anytime I was going to watch a movie or do something on the internet. I put my keyboard right here, and I would do like a Harry Potter marathon and ride my bike really slow for 5 hours. And I take breaks and have a nice cushy seat that I don't have to wear fancy, you know, pants for. I don't shave my legs anymore. I got serious there for a while. I started doing it again, but not interested in that. And yeah, I dropped 20 kilos the first year. So, but most importantly, it started resetting my physiology. So I was less insulin resistant, which means that I wasn't wearing my pancreas out, and my body was coded to burn fat more than, complain. When your body complains, it produces cortisol. And cortisol is causes chronic inflammation. Yeah, no more smooth legs. Hey, Bellum. Which is funny because my ex-wife would probably be really happy to hear that. She hated when I shaved. She hated it. So, yeah, I'm all hairy again. I got nothing the biggest thing to learn about Zwift here is to be okay getting past. Because it's more important for me to maintain my zone 2 BPM. And by the way, if you can't tell, my fitness is way, way down. I've only been riding my bike. My strength is high, but my cardio fitness has gone way down because I haven't been riding my bike. I got off my bike when I think I stopped riding in September. This is the first, and then February I started up kind of late. I usually start up in January when I feel this way. I get, you know, anyway, I got back on. Consistency is more important than intensity, hands down. That means for these first few days, I recognize some of these names. These are some of the morning regulars that I used to ride with. There's a lot of beginners. This is another beginner right here. Yeah. So yeah, I decided to just be to really not push it because, like I said, I don't want to burn out. I don't want to get sick of it. I have really, really, really great music in my ears. That makes it so fun because I love music. You can go to my link tree, top right, top left, if you want to find my podcast, my Spotify. Does it show what you're listening to, or is that Discord only? Oh, watch the Fems. Yeah, but it's hard not to want to ride faster at this time. It is, it's really hard because that's actually one of the best things about Zwift is that if it was your only thing, you could allow yourself to race on certain days. One of my favorite memories in Zwift is being told by somebody who seemed like a pretty serious cyclist just from having raced and watched them, and they had noticed my sprint. I've lost my sprint ability. I've lost most of my leg muscle, actually. That's why I'm back on here. Yeah, I've got all. I've got like all kinds of upper body now, but I don't have legs. My legs went to shit because I've been doing yoga and climbing, so I completely lost my legs. Which other climbers love letting their legs become like itsy bitsy sticks. You know, cyclists will let their arms become itsy bitsy sticks. And they have big legs. So the optimal combination is yoga for to calm your parasympathetic nervous system, make sure you're, staying chill. Climbing, lifting, a little bit of antagonistic weightlifting to keep your shoulders going. Yoga also builds like upper body. And if you have the energy, do calisthenics instead of yoga. So yeah, I used to think yoga was going to be enough strength training uh, for my upper body, and then I was reading about climbing. I have these climbing books now, and the climbing books are talking about training, particularly antagonistic squats. If you can, yeah, but squats and deadlifts for somebody over 40, it's a different deal. At that point, the sled starts to become, leg press becomes more valuable. And then you can strengthen your back in other ways because it becomes dangerous. Plus I just hate dead. I hate like full blown rack squats. They're so good for power. They're really good for developing power, like lightweight power. So you probably know this about weightlifting, but the lower the range, the more power for less muscle. So less hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is what builds the muscle. And the higher the repetition, like really, really high, it builds different muscles. You know this. It builds the long fibers that are like based on endurance. That's why you see endurance athletes say, look, kind of their muscles are kind of drawn out because their muscles are designed to go, long distance endurance more than like weight. And then you have the weightlifters who don't care about any of that. They just want their muscles to be bigger. And that range is in the middle. So like 6 to 10 reps, I'll lift to 15. That will build muscle size. So if you're going for the aesthetics and not function, that's the range that they work in. So I work on the upper end of that range for most part. which means I don't lift. And plus another thing too, when I weight lift, I stop at 70%. Because if you go beyond that, you really tear your muscles, particularly if you're older, and it takes you much, much longer to. So if you want to work out 2 to 3 times in the gym at 70%, now there's bodybuilders who'll tell you that I'm nuts. They're usually also packing TRT. They're taking testosterone and all kinds of things. There's actually a really famous YouTuber who just did a video like last week, about the effects of testosterone replacement therapy on his body and what happens when you go off of it. It's terrifying. He was like flying high as one of the most fit YouTubers out there. And I remember the day that he talked to me about the fact that he was doing testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm not saying don't do it, but he got off of it because it has side effects, even though it's legal. And I'm not even against it. I mean, women in menopause take hormones, so why not men, right? But you pay the price because his body adapted to having that extra testosterone. And then when you pull the plug on it, it's not there anymore. He blimped out with visceral fat and his muscles all went down and he couldn't work out as hard every day. I brought it up because most of the bodybuilders out there, when they say, oh yeah, 70%'s for pussies or whatever, I'm like, one, you're probably roided up anyway. In fact, I just saw a video where they said you can't be a serious bodybuilder without being on roids, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Two, they're going entirely for the look of it, which I think is disgusting anyway. Most women do too, by the way, and it's not natural. And three, they are usually really young. Not always. The main reason to build muscle when you get older, to quote Peter Attia, old age is an extreme sport. Old age is an extreme sport. Your ability to produce muscle goes down after, was it 40? And you start losing muscle, catabolizing muscle, because your body thinks you don't need it. So you have to do more work to keep the same muscle as a young person. And the only way over 40, you have to eat at least 30 grams of protein to trigger muscle protein synthesis. Under 40, you only need 10 grams. This is why young muscle, they're like sucking protein shakes every 2 hours or whatever, and it works for them. It doesn't work if you're over 40. Over 40, to trigger your body to even build muscle the same way you used to do, like when you eat protein, it naturally turns your muscle building system on, and that lasts for 3 to 5 hours. And if you eat more more protein in that time, it just gets oxidized and burned up as energy. It doesn't go to building muscle at all. I mean, that's not true. It can, like maintenance stuff like fascia and fingernails, thing like that, I guess. But it doesn't trigger another muscle protein synthesis phase. And you only have, as over 40, if you do the math, if every 3 hours, you've got 3 to 5 hours. That means if you're awake for 12 hours a day, that's really 3 good windows to activate protein synthesis. And by the way, if you sleep on top of that, you produce, during just a day, you produce like 20% growth hormone, I think the number is. But when you sleep, your growth hormone goes off the chart. You produce like most of your growth hormone, which is the thing that does everything. That's the fountain of youth. It causes you to heal. That's why when you wake up from a really good sleep, you feel so good. Sometimes your fingernails are longer, sometimes your hair. I'm bald, so I'll notice If I've been through muscle protein synthesis, I will literally wake up and notice my hair has grown. It's the craziest thing. You get dialed into this stuff after 40 years. You just kind of monitor your own body and you kind of know what's going on. If you build the muscle that you build in your 30s, I do think some of it lasts. I think my wife used to say, ex-wife, she used to say that it didn't take me very long to build muscle back. So, I have actually seen more hair growth. Like my hairline, it's not as bad. Yeah, which is not because of testosterone. Testosterone causes you to go bald. So, it's growth hormone. Anyway, 7K. I should drink some water. I've been talking and not drinking. I just have like non-flavored electrolyte. It's really salty. It's actually really good to heat up. And you heat up like just non-flavored electrolyte drink. It's just sodium, potassium, magnesium. It tastes like beef bouillon. It's really good. It's a good snack. If you like craving a nice warm beverage, which has been overwhelmingly proven to lower your stress level, a warm beverage will lower your stress. Any warm beverage. And that's why chicken soup when you're sick, blah blah blah. So, boy, I'm gonna be mid-range of zone 2 today. I'm guessing my average is gonna be like 108 BPM. It was 114 yesterday and it knocked me out. A little bit too high. Anyway, yeah. Black coffee. Black coffee will definitely calm you down and before it like hypes you up. I love black coffee. I haven't eaten black coffee in a long time though because I got addicted. I was drinking probably 10 cups of coffee a day because I started associating coffee with hydration. I was like jittery and overly stressed and barking at people, and it was one of the things I gave up when I moved. I mean, we have the Cafe Ibis is this like local coffee beanery kind of place. And then we went there and ground your own beans and everything. It's so good. And before I moved, I think the reason I drink so much coffee is my wife bought me at the time. She bought me uh a cappuccino machine, and I would do the little shots, espresso machine. And I would push a button and I had espresso like instant. Some of you will remember I used to be constantly drinking an espresso. Always, I used to stream it. I would like stream making it. And when I moved, I was like, I don't, I can make coffee more of a every once in a while thing. So I started cooking my own coffee, filtering my own coffee. Plus, I was getting ready to go outside a lot, so can't take my espresso machine. So I asked her if she wanted it. She paid a lot of money for that machine. It was also a pain in the ass to keep clean. So she goes, "But you love that thing." I said, I just, things change. And I started filtering my own coffee, got a little coffee cup coffee machine, and I still was drinking a lot when I got here. And then I noticed I was doing, but when I moved here, everything was focused on dropping my stress. I started doing daily yoga, started, cleaning, organizing my stuff, all these things that are known to drop stress. I bought a book on neuroscience, the textbook for Harvard neuroscience. to study it. I registered for yoga teacher training, and I just really dove into it because Yoga Sutra number one, calm the fluctuations of the mind. That's why yoga exists. A lot of people drink tea. Green tea is really good for you, but not as good as cacao. Raw cacao, raw cacao, gram for gram, has the most positive nutrients you can get in a hot beverage. It's really nasty if you don't sweeten it. And I don't sweeten it. I have black raw cacao, and then I usually will, if I need to sweeten it, I'll eat a Rice Krispie treat with it or something. It's because it takes longer for the a Rice Krispie treat doesn't spike my sugar as much as sugar in my coffee would. So, and one Rice Krispie treat is 90 calories. So I'll have like half of one instead of having sugar. And it gives you something to nibble on, and it sweetens the cacao. I just mix the cacao powder. I just microwave a ceramic cup of hot water, and mix my tablespoon of cacao in there. I really, really love it. And then when I really crave coffee, I'll go out and have coffee. I'm actually going out for coffee with a friend today. Um, so I'll still drink coffee. I just don't do it every day, you know. And yeah, just look for raw cacao powder. And then if ask your AI about the benefits, you'll hear about it. Or search it out. And but yeah, but another hot beverage that is filling and satisfying and calms you down and has 0 calories is just it's just electrolyte. You get like electrolyte powder packets. Get the non-flavored electrolyte. By the way, anything that tastes sweet will signal your pancreas to make money, to make insulin. Anything. Anything. It can be sugar-free, it doesn't matter. If your tongue tastes something sweet, your brain's like, "Oh, we got sugar coming," and it tells your pancreas to pump insulin. This is why sugar-free beverages have been making people fat for years. I've been saying this the whole time, and now there's actual science and studies to show it. That's why I've had spoonfuls of sugar. I've been starting to. One time I was trying to do fasting, which is stupid. I'm not doing it anymore. And I brushed my teeth, and the sweetness of the toothpaste triggered my insulin response. I could feel it. I could feel it. And I was like, whoa. So carbs aren't bad, by the way. The problem is you get insulin resistance is bad. Hey, there's some level 25 folk. We can hang out with them. Should we hang out with the level 25s for a while? They're from Japan. Yeah, we only have 6K left. We're gonna be downhill here in a second. Mhm. Anyway, what else are we talking about? So you can see we're getting on a hill. If you look over to the top right, you can see our map. We have 6.1K left. Why K and not miles? Because cycling is a metric sport. And also, cycling is you get more XP for doing metric because they didn't do any special math. It's one of the stupidest bugs ever. So when they first started, I think it was like 1.7 more XP for being metric. I agree, metric is better in every way. I totally agree. But that's not why I did it, because it was like 1 point whatever. All right, see, I can't breathe right now. Having a hard time talking. It's because my heart rate just jumped over into zone 3. I'm at 125. I think 120 is my border. It's okay though. We're gonna show you how to super tuck here in a bit. I'll pass these guys on the downhill because I'm probably heavier than them. I'm 83K, which is, I was down to 77K last year, 78. Hey, a new PR. No. All right, so we're going way faster just for being in the draft. Yeah. Why are they slowing down? They taking a break for a sandwich? Like, totally passed them. You can do that, by the way. When you get to zone 3, you have a really hard time forming sentences. It's one of the reasons I like talking in the morning. All right, now I'm right on the upper of zone 2. They call it the breath test, and that's like, you don't need a fancy device. Yeah, a lot of people won't ride with a heart rate monitor. In my 30s, I stopped. I paid all this money for like one of the first heart rate monitors ever, a Polar. It was huge. But it's called the rate of perceived exertion, RPE. RPE is called. This is 10% grade. This is straight up for me. And the reason they're dropping me is because they're a lot lighter than me. But when I get on the downhill, I'll fly by them because I'm so heavy. I used to have the opposite problem as a triathlete. The heavy guys would drop me on the downhill and I would just go right up past them on the hill. 9% grade. Again, my difficulty is all the way to 0, which means actually it's not 0. I think it's 5%. You need a little bit of it, otherwise you can't pedal during the downhill at all. Sometimes on the downhill you want to be able to pedal. So that's actually probably one of the most undiscussed things on the internet about Zwift. Where to set your trainer difficulty. If you want a consistent workout every day, then you want your trainer difficulty relatively low. See how my legs are really spinning? If my trainer difficulty was high on this hill, so what does trainer difficulty do? Trainer difficulty does one thing. It makes you feel, it turns down your acceleration per stroke, creates more resistance based on the grade. So when you're going up a hill, as long as you spin, you're fine. But if you even stop spinning for a little bit, that friction engages and it gets, takes you down. Yeah. Yeah. You got to get you one of these. You got to get, you have to get a heart rate strap band, a nice one. Now, see, I'm going 63K. Watch. I don't even have to do anything. I'll super tuck here in a second. Watch. Wait, did they get rid of super tuck? They got rid of super tuck. They got rid of super tuck. Can somebody confirm that? It used to be you would super tuck if you stopped. So yeah, so if your resistance is off completely, your trainer difficulty is off, and trainer whatever, then you can't pedal downhill. So you kind of top out. I can't believe they took away super tuck. So I got to get behind somebody. When you're going fast like this, the aero gains on the bike and being behind somebody are like way, way higher, like 30%. In fact, oh boy, catch up with these guys. I ended up blowing my heart rate on the downhill. Hey, you know, this is called a hill. Overshot. I blew my heart rate, but it's near the end of the ride, so it's okay. If you blow your heart rate like that at the beginning, you'll never get back to zone 2 before the ride's over. I'm sucking up this guy. They have a plugin you can add that'll show you how much draft effect you're getting. I should get it. Yeah, breathing is not happening right now. I mean, talking. You guys are heavy. Green. See the green? You gotta be careful because like a sprint like that, it'll burn up my muscle. I can't do how heavy duty warriors with Skyward tonight in yoga. I'll be too beat up. We only got a 1.3K though. So I'm gonna hang with this person. They're training. That's why they have that thing up. Oh shit. Rob, let it go. Let it go, Rob. Let it go. This happens to me every time I get competitive. I didn't get. I thought it was 62. Do you know the rate? Maybe they changed the animation. It used to be you would like, go down. You don't do much with the data. Yeah, my HRM is just to keep myself honest, like right now. Right now, I feel like I'm in zone 2, but my heart rate is still 127. And I know that that's not zone 2. So it's the end of the ride, so there's a little bit of drift. That's the thing about heart rate. That's why people use power instead. When you're fatigued into the ride, power lies less than heart rate. I'm gonna try to. We only have 5K left, 500 meters. Sorry, I'm not gonna sprint on purpose. I don't want to blow my legs out. Like one really intense sprint will knock out your ability to do strength training and other stuff later in the day. And I don't want to do that. As fun as it is to do the sprints, I love sprinting. I have to do an hour climbing, an hour yoga. And tomorrow I'm lifting. So this is the hard part about Zwift, like not overdoing it, because it's so freaking fun. That's much better, Rob. Nice happy finish. Plus, then you're not puking at the end, which I have done in races. I've been puking at the end. I might do a race here or there. They're really fun. Here it comes, 100 meters. Oh, I'm getting past. No, should I sprint? See, I should try to chase that guy down. No, Rob. No, don't do that. It's not worth it. And the great thing about doing zone two is I don't have to cool down. I'm already cool down. So I can just get off the bike, go shower, go to work. If I did a race, I'd have to cool down for 20, 30 minutes to get my metabolism back in range. All right, about ready to see you guys. I'm going to take off. I'm going to be strict with my time for obvious reasons. I have sweat in my eyes, though. That's the problem with sitting down, is then you like sweat starts to gush. Another reason to stay in zone two. Not as much sweat management. Make sure you have a towel under your thing or on it so you capture the salty sweat or ruin your rig. Just a towel doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be fancy. I can't stay here too long or my muscles will lock up. So. I have an SP of 1. Oh, no, that was 1 upvote. Oh, there we go. 30 SP. So this is something called TSS. It's your total training stress score. And the number tells you how ready you will be to train again. Taking my shoes off. So they call it SP, but you can think of it as TSS. And you can go look up, if you do a search for TSS to tell how much workout you can do, that's what you can do. You can look at that number. Anything under like 50, you can do 24 hours. It only takes 24 hours to recover. But because I'm doing other workouts today, mine's even lower than that. I try to shoot for like 20 to 30. Again, the only reason I even get on the bike is to activate insulin sensitivity for the rest of the day. So I burn fat instead of sugar. And I'm sorry, instead of getting inflamed. If you don't do that, your body will stress out and produce cortisol because it thinks it's not getting enough energy. Because if you have too much insulin, your body can't produce energy from fat. It's physically impossible. So you want to make your body insulin sensitive. And a way to do that is 20 to 40 minutes of low zone 2 cardio or less every morning. And then that tells your body to be insulin sensitive for the next 8 to 15 hours, according to the study. Hey, Pimp. Um, hey, Pimp, do you know if you can still super tuck? We were just talking about that. I was trying to super tuck at 62K per hour, and I could not see it. I was just wondering if you knew. Does it still change your animation? I mean, I must be 67 then or something. I must have the number wrong on this hill. All right. I'm gonna take a screenshot with my phone of this because I like these. I like to have these for reference. You can only take a screenshot of this screen with the Zwift app. It's the only way. There's no other way that I know of to take a screenshot So they have a there's like a this photo thing here. You push that and it takes a screenshot, and then you can yeah, I'll have to try Super Tuck again. So then again, that was a solid zone too, right? I did do some sprinting there at the end, but it wasn't enough to counter the like 108 that I did most of the entire time. 106 actually. There we go. So this says that this is zone one. I think my heart rate distributions are totally screwed up. I do. I think they're screwed up. I think I need to, because if I were at 118, I wouldn't be able to talk. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. All I know is that if I or go higher than that, I think it would be look, this week I'm going to keep my average around 120. 110 to 120. I'm going to keep it like talking. Again, the whole point is to just activate insulin resistance. I got people texting me, so it's just weird. It's like they must. Oh, it's the time difference. So I'm like, what? Like, who the fuck is texting me at 7 a.m.? All right, I see. Okay, what's going on? Anyway, so what am I doing? Okay, so this is the plan. I'm gonna stay in zone one for another week, and I'm gonna try to keep the 3 days of climbing every day, an hour of hot yoga, um, and see if I can maintain that. If I can maintain that, then I'll up my morning to zone two, and or I think this Zotune is lying. I think I might have my max heart rate wrong. I changed it to 176. I don't know. Heart rate's a kind of a weird thing, you know. So it's kind of hard to know whether it's accurate or not because all of the algorithms suck. You know what I mean? You see protect in the low 180s. I know. I had mine set to 179, and I got a legit 176 on the road last year. So I'm pretty sure my max heart rate is 179, but I mean, I would have been blowing up. I don't think I could recover. I'm worried because I don't want to overdo it. I overreached last week and I tried fasting and I blew up. I had adrenal fatigue and cortisol and chronic inflammation and all kinds of things. I had to take 2 days, 3 or 3 days off and just sleep to recover my endocrine system and get it back before I could even go work out again. And I think the reason for that was because I was first of all, I was doing daily climbing, and climbing is like a high stress activity. It's literally fight or flight or fall and die. So I think that was the reason I dropped yoga to make time for climbing, which was more sympathetic nervous system stuff, not so parasympathetic. It was more intense. It was harder on my ligaments, so I was stressing my nervous system, my fascia, and my muscles, and my nervous system way more than yoga. I blew up. I like really blew up. Plus, I had shit going on in my family. Um, and I did. I had to take 2 or 3 solid days off, and then it didn't get better when I took the time off. And then I noticed that when I went for walks, it got better. So there's something called active recovery if you don't know about this. So what I'm doing every morning is literally active recovery. Active recovery is when you get your blood pumping so that it creates insulin sensitivity. It tells your body that you're still alive. It like circulates all that old blood that's been pooling in your capillaries and stuff like that. But it doesn't really have a training effect in the sense of like, oh, like zone two or zone three or, sweet spot or whatever, where it's going to build your VO2 max. It will be able to build your VO2 max over a long time, over many months. That's been proven. Zone two and zone one have been proven to improve VO2 max, even though you're not being super intense. But intervals are by far the fastest way to build VO2 max. But if you're not a pro and you're not competing, you don't need that. So doing some amount of zone one cardio, going for a 30-minute walk every day, like they say, or whatever, is just overall good for your body because it keeps things flowing. I think I did everything wrong. I overtrained, right? So I overtrained and I was in adrenal fatigue and cortisol fatigue, hyperinflammation, and then I just stopped and I slept and then I didn't do anything. And then I started getting itchy and I started having all the signs of like really, really loaded cortisol. And I was like, what is going on? Are there allergens in the house or something? And I'm pretty sure it was because I had done all of this stuff to produce a lot of extra cortisol, and then I just stopped moving. So I like pumped my body full of cortisol, and then I didn't clear the cortisol. So you can get rid of cortisol by exercise. Exercise burns off the cortisol. And I stopped doing all exercise because I wanted to recover, and then I still had these symptoms of like inflammation. So and then I started just doing a 20 or 30 minute and then I remembered like way back when, like when I was really big, I remember being so frustrated by being really bloated and having like inflammation that when that would happen, I would get so frustrated. I would get on my bike and literally think to myself, if I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to do it right now on the bike. And I would bike and then it ended up fixing it. It ended up fixing it. I felt wonderful afterward. So anyway, that's enough talk. I gotta go to work. See you tomorrow. I think guys, in terms of time, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set um 5:30. I am gonna be on the bike at 5:30 every morning. How about 6? I don't know, 5:30 feels right. 5:30 feels like the right time. Yay. What do you think about 5:30? 5:32. Perfect, Pam. The reason I'm going to do this regularly is for myself, but also if any of you want to coordinate your indoor running or biking with me, or if you're a Zwifter, you can come ride with me. That's what's so great. We could get on Discord, we could literally chat, and you could come ride with me. So if that's your thing, if you'd like to do that with me, come on, whether you want to, you don't have to stream it necessarily. But yeah, you just come on in, and I remember Wild's Clutch used to do that with me. I haven't seen Wild's Clutch in a while. I did see Brack yesterday, so I've only been streaming Zwift for what 3 days now. So eventually I'll like reconnect. I saw Pookie Butt. So eventually I'll reconnect with a bunch of these really great people who I've come to know through Zwift, which is another reason to do this. I mean, if you're gonna exercise collaboratively and you also are kind of a gamer, I mean, there's really nothing better than Zwift for this guy. There are other versions of this, right? I won't say them now. Zwift is my favorite. Definitely has the most people in it. Um, but yeah, you can like get in. People will like have team races and they'll collaborate and they'll all be on Discord together or whatever, and then they'll compete together or they'll train together and stuff like that. So you started Zwift because of me because I showed you. I've heard that 3 times now. I've heard three different geeks, tech people said, "Oh, what's Rob streaming today?" They thought I was streaming tech stuff, and they saw that I was streaming Zwift, and they started doing it. So That's one of the reasons I do it. Obviously, the main reason is because I don't want to. I mean, I don't mind being alone in my room, but if I can talk to friends and make new writing friend buddies, you've been on team trials on Zwift, aren't they awesome? You're gonna do ladder races for Team Rhino? Oh man, you're badass. Pimp's badass. That is badass. Badass for Pimp. All right, I gotta go. Have a great day, everybody. Well, let me show you. I'm going to click on OK here. Wait, let's finish this. I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. Or just give me a second. What does that say? Is that the one? Say completed? I don't want that. This one is the one I want. No. Which one do I want? I don't know. Which one do I want? I want that one. Raw complete. I don't know if I want that one. 100% I knew you wanted to get into biking with Zwift eventually. That's super awesome. I met Pimp through Zwift. And Pimp has been with me through many of my adventures. We talk about bass guitar and all kinds of stuff on the road. So you never know. You never know who you're going to meet. I've talked about this. I got my current job from live streaming. I've met several people live streaming that I have become friends with in person. Hey, how you doing, DJ Adams? Just a fly-by. Hi for me. Good to see you, DJ. Thank you for letting me know that people on YouTube are actually watching. In case anybody's wondering, I am streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch now, and most of my streams are going to be physical fitness related. I may occasionally do a tech stream, but if you're coming here for the tech, you know, it's not doing as much of that. So it's there. Thank you. Oh, that's Q Macro. Oh, Q Macro, so good to see you. Did you move on from SAP? I think that was public knowledge. Anyway, again, lots of friends. Oh, by the way, if you are going to KubeCon, I just got approval. They're going to pay for my KubeCon in Salt Lake City in November. So if you want to meet with me in person and shoot the shit or whatever, I'll be in Salt Lake City at KubeCon in November. I'm actually tentatively thinking about presenting on writing a keylogin code. So to those of non-geeks out there, just, ignore what I said. Oh, the cult is on my ears. She's so sanctuary right now. Time for me to listen to this and go start my workday. Again, goodbye. Uploaded. Follow me on Strava. I actually got rid of my Strava and then I added it back. No, I would love to go to KubeCon Amsterdam. I would. I can't get him to pay for that though. So I'm lucky to get them to pay for the ticket. I have to drive there myself. So I'm doing this. I'm doing the short ones. So all right, friends. Where is my off button? See you later.